Hey everybody, guess who it is? Yep, it's me, back with another video. And in a previous video, you would know that I referenced SSI and SSDI in my video talking about disabilities. So I just wanted to make a quick video talking about these two programs in particular, and a little bit more about what they are and why they're useful if you obviously have disabilities and whatnot. So, SSI, Supplemental Security Income. So just keep that in mind. Whenever I reference SSI, that's that. SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance. Very similar programs, but they have a few differences, which I will explain, not in extreme detail, but real quick in a moment. So, I have personal experience with both to a certain extent. First time I applied, I believe I had just turned 18. Because once you apply at that point, then you're of legal age to apply on your own. You don't need a parent or guardian or anything like that to apply for you, so on and so forth. And the application process is a little bit of a detailed thing. It requires you to do it online, do the Social Security Administration, or SSA, which is how I refer to it further on. You can go to your local SSA office, I believe, and fill out the application. I've always just done it online, but it's all fine and well. So you go to the website, you apply for disability benefits, so on and so forth. It's a government-funded program in the United States, of course. So for other countries, you might have something similar, and probably just call it something else. But I guess the foundation is all the same when you get down to it. It's benefits for those who need a little help. So SSI in particular is the one that I have always tried to get approved for, because the requirements for both that they share in common goes as follows. You must be a citizen of the country. You must be disabled or blind or elderly. And you must be low income or no income. That one is in particular for SSI and SSDI. You don't need to be low income or have no income at all to have it, I believe. But also where the money comes from and who's eligible for it is very different with SSDI. So as I said previously, these are the main differences real quick. Disability insurance, SSDI. You need to have built up work credits. Now, the exact amount of work credits you need is based on your age. I can give you an example, which isn't accurate at all. I'm just making it up. Let's say you are 30, and to get SSDI, you need 4 work credits. And let's say that you get a work credit for every year of work you've had. So you would have had to work for 4 years prior to being 30. And that's basically how it would go. I, on the other hand, do not have even probably even like maybe a whole year of work history. So however many credits I need for my age, I'm positive I don't have, because I automatically get this denied for SSDI whenever I apply for SSI. And that's the other thing. SSDI and SSI, you basically apply for through the same application, more or less. Because the same questions, same everything, But SSDI, if you don't have work credits, you're just automatically be denied. SSI, since you don't need to have worked in the past, that you can go further with. So, that being said, those are really the main differences. Of course, also the amount of money you get every month also differs based on SSI or SSDI. Also depends on, I believe, what state you're in, so on and so forth. So, the application process, I always apply it online. Could take about an hour or two, depends on how fast you type and how readily available the information you need is to you. They ask questions such as your name, date of birth, address, what conditions you have, how long you've had them, how long you've been unable to work, and other things such as your medications, operations, and surgeries you've had, tests you've had done, what doctors you see for these conditions, your work history, as well as, I believe, educational history, I think, and a few more things. You have to sign off to get your medical records released to the SSA also. And then after you apply, you'll get a letter in the mail within a few weeks or so, giving you an appointment to come into the SSA office in person and speak to somebody, and there fill out more information and send your application in. And they'll ask you questions basically the same on the application that you filled out online, more or less. And after that's done, it's the waiting process. Now, you can't really do anything to speed it up. It really depends on your area, how many people are applying, how many people work at the office that can go through it. In my area, it's a pretty crowded, congested area. It takes, last I remember, like maybe half a year or so to get a response. And also in that time frame, they will be doing things like getting information from your doctors, having them fill out forms about you and your conditions, any hospitals, clinics, places that you listed that you go to. They also might send you to one of their doctors for the county, I believe, based on what conditions you have. If you listed mental health conditions, physical health conditions, or send you to a psychologist or a medical doctor, just to, I guess, verify that you have these conditions. They might have you take some tests, ask you some questions, just give you an examination, basically. They'll also send you some forms home to fill out regarding your day-to-day activities, hobbies. Can you cook for yourself, handle money, pay bills, socialize, basically what kind of limitations you have and what you do on a regular day-to-day basis, and all that, And they also ask you the same information from a third party, like a friend or neighbor or close relative or anything like that, just someone else that can vouch and verify that you have these conditions and what they know of you to be dealing with your disabilities and whatnot too. So you can get a family member or anything like that to do it if you have one available that knows about your situation. And then, like I said, once it's all done, you get a response. You either get approved or denied. If you get approved, I've never been approved, so I don't know. That's where it stops. If you've been denied, however, I can relate. I've been denied multiple times. Every time I've lied, actually, I've been denied. So then there's the appeal process. You can appeal. There are 4 levels to appeal. There is reconsideration, administrative law judge hearing, appeals council review, and going through the federal court, in that order. You have to start at 1 and go to down to the 4th one. But you don't have to. You can stop at any level of appeal if you so choose. You don't have to keep it going. And you don't even have to appeal at all if you don't want to. You can apply again. You can give up. It's all fine. And, well, it's on you. But if you do decide to appeal, which I have before, start with reconsideration. They basically take what you have given, they send it to someone else, and they will basically take anything that you have new, like new changes in your conditions or anything, new information, new records and evidence, and they will use that and the previous information to give you a new decision. And that will either approve you or not deny you once again, and that can take up to 6 months. Of course, depending on your area, I'm just using my own personal experience, again, to hear from. Then if you still get denied, next level is a hearing. I've had the hearing, and waiting to see the judge, all in all, after the reconsideration can, once again, for my area, I believe it took me 13, 14 months or so, I believe, maybe 15, but around there, a little bit over a year, basically. You can hire a lawyer to defend you. SSI lawyers typically work for free and only get money if you win, so they get some of your earnings. You don't have to pay them out of pocket, which is good. I believe it's up to 25% or a certain number of your back pay and everything. So, if you won like $10,000 over the course for however how long your case has been going on, they can get like $2,500. Like, there you go. I did get a lawyer, And it is rough because at first I could not find a lawyer to defend me or represent me because of how young I was. They said me being so young that I was very likely to get denied, and they just did not want to basically take that risk of working for nothing. All right, fine, no problem. I eventually found one that would help me out. Met with him a few times. Decent guy, chosen to represent me and all that. We had conversations over the phone, in person. Everything was all right. He did what he had to do. I signed forms. We talked. We discussed my conditions. We discussed what to do, what to say, and it was nerve-wracking as I'd never been to court, never spoke to a judge before. But I did what was necessary of me, what he required, suggested, things like that. Went in, spoke to the judge. Now, the court hearing rather, is not a criminal hearing or anything like that. There's no police and a jury and people trying you and judging you, besides the judge, of course. There might be like 4 or 5 people total in the room. It's not a very big room. I'd say it's like a smaller size courtroom than what you would see on TV or a movie or a video game or anything like that. And basically it's you and your lawyer and the judge and maybe 1 or 2 more people that work there that have things to do, like the someone to transcribe the everything that's being said and whatnot, And the judge, basically he or she will just ask you more questions. And like, what do you do? Where have you worked? Why can't you work? What conditions do you have? And just basically verify more information and ask you about what you do on a day-to-day basis. What did you do for work? All that stuff, the personal details, medical details, all that stuff, you get the idea. It's not a very long hearing. I believe mine was about half an hour or so. It's very early in the morning, which sucked having to get up so early. I believe I had to be there like 8 o'clock maybe. My hearing was at maybe 8:30. I was out of there a little bit after 9. It really wasn't too bad overall. And then, once again, I took 2 months to hear something back, about 8 weeks. And I got denied once again. So I got a thick packet of papers in the mail, basically explaining my conditions, details. It had dates of when I went to see this doctor or that doctor, or had this test done, and a whole bunch of my medical records, which I already mostly know. There were a few mistakes as far as like dates and numbers go, but I don't feel like it was anything that would have actually made a drastic difference in my consideration of approved or denied. So I did not make a big deal about it. I read a bit. It's a lot of papers. I don't even believe I read all of it. I was just kind of disappointed. And I left it at that. Went to go have a meeting with my lawyer one more time after that. He said we could take it to the next level, but I chose not to. The next level is, of course, appeals counsel review, and he's basically explained to me that the appeals counsel, they can either approve you when they see when they see that you're appealing, they can approve you themselves, even though the lawyer did not. They can deny your request for an appeal. They can send you back to the same judge, or they can give you a new judge. I believe those are the 4 options that they have based on whoever in the council looks at your information, records, history, and case overall, and decides that they feel is the best course of action. And then the last level, once again, I did not do it either, but it is federal court. You basically take your case to the federal court. You file a lawsuit or however, and you go to court over it. But basically, that's about it for the appeal process. And it is rough, but if you're going for SSI, all I can say is best of luck. Hang in there. If you have any questions about it or anything, just feel free to ask me in the comment section below if there's anything that I missed that you're curious about. Just a quick few more things. The amount of money you get, your benefits for the month, varies based, I believe, on your state and your living situation, whether you live alone, family, if you're married, have kids, so on and so forth. They use that and calculate it. So I can't really give you an exact number. Once again, you can look into this for your state and your own living situation, of course. I talked to a friend that has been approved for SSI a while back and is the same age as me. He said that if you do get approved, they do try to find ways to kick you off of it for like very minor things, and it is hard to get back on it. so on and so forth. You really got to fight for it, which is very sad to me because people that are disabled, need help, elderly, blind, they need assistance, especially monetarily, because it is very rough and the cost of living is crazy in some areas. But all that aside, that was just a little bit about my personal experience and about SSI and SSDI as a whole, as far as the programs go. And hopefully none of you have to apply for it. Hopefully none of you are disabled, blind, or anything like that. But if you do, I hope that I have helped you. As I said, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. I do read and I do respond pretty quickly. And of course, please click the like button, thumbs up button if you like the video. And last but not least, share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that can relate about SSI, SSDI, disabilities, hearings, appeals, all the long and tedious process that goes along with it. It is not very easy. It is very time consuming. It is very stressful. It causes a lot of doctor's appointments, gathering records and information, and getting diagnoses from doctors and meetings is a hassle. I went through it for years. It is not easy, but sometimes it has to be done, and that's completely understandable because it is hard out here. So once again, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I hope I was able to provide you with insight on something new, and take care.